I'm just going to start with a prepared statement, and I'll be happy to answer any questions at the end if I possibly can. After many months of careful consideration, I've decided to step down as the head baseball coach here at Gulf Coast. That's a position I've held for 16 years. I'm extremely proud to be only one of three people to have held that position in the last 53 years. I will continue on as the athletic director. That's something I feel like I got a ton of energy for. I have a real clear vision of where I think we can take the athletic program as a whole, and I'm really excited to work in that endeavor. I think we have some extremely talented coaches here that I'm excited to work with, and to try to take Gulf Coast athletics to a level that maybe it's never even been before in terms of a lot of things. So I have a lot of excitement as we move forward going into the future. I have a lot of different people that I want to thank for the support that they've shown me in our program over the last 16 years. I've had the opportunity to work for 3 different administrations. All of them have been extremely supportive, but I especially want to thank Dr. John Holdnack, who has been extremely supportive of me on a professional level, of our program at all times, of our athletic program at all times. But he's also been very supportive of me on a personal level. When I went through some health issues back about 4 years ago, he did some things that went above and beyond what a president would have to do, and that's something to me that will always be in my heart of just how well I was treated through some really tough times. And I really look very forward to working with him and our current administration as we go forward. I'd like to thank all of you, members of the media, for 16 years. You've been extremely fair. You've been extremely diligent in how you covered the Commodores. It's really a luxury that most junior college coaches never have an opportunity to have. 2 local news stations, a local newspaper that are basically covering every event you have. And it's been a lot of fun, and it's really been a great experience. We've had many, many different reporters and news personalities over the years. They've all been outstanding. I think that the current group might be the best that it's ever been. Certainly not showing any preference, but I'd like to thank Scott Rossman, simply because we cut our teeth together in this. 30 years ago, we were kind of babies doing this, and we've, in spite of our differences, as far as who we actually think is a good football team, we've been friends for a long time. So I appreciate your friendship and your coverage, and I really look forward to working with all of you as we go forward. And it's been really fun to see where some of the different media people, where they've been able to go and advance in their careers. That's been a fun thing for me as well. So I thank all of you for the job that you have done in covering us. I want to thank the umpires, who they have a thankless job, but they've been fair, believe it or not. Nobody wants to say that. They've worked extremely hard. I've had an extremely good relationship, I think, with them. I want to thank all of my coaching colleagues that I shared a hallway with, including the ones that are here today. Been a lot of fun. For a lot of us, we spend more time talking with each other than we do with our own families. And sometimes as a coach, you really, only another coach can really understand what you're going through on a daily basis. So just to be able to bounce different things off of each other has really been a privilege to be able to do that over the years. And again, with our current coaching staff, I think we've got just an extremely talented group of people that I really, really am excited to work with. I want to thank the Gulf Coast faculty and staff for all the things that they have done. Particularly, I want to thank Mandy Carter, who has worked with me, been right by my side the entire time. Probably wouldn't get anything accomplished if it wasn't for her. In recruiting players, I always felt like, geez, we got a really good situation here. We got an outstanding baseball program that you can come to. But I wasn't always positive it was the best baseball fit. I was always positive it was the best fit academically, because Gulf Coast faculty is second to none. And the education that a kid can get here is absolutely, my wife has graduated from here, both of my children graduated from here. And so I felt really confident in that, and our faculty has just been unbelievable the way they treated all of our athletes. Yeah, continue to look forward to those relationships. I've had many assistant coaches. Assistant coaches are the unsung heroes. They do all the work, and us head coaches get credit. I've had just tremendous assistant coaches that have been able to move on, but none better than the two I have right now, Chris Rose and Jake Schuster. I can't thank them enough. They've really helped carry this program for the last couple of years and done an unbelievable job that way. I want to thank my family, starting with my mom and dad, who are deceased, but they kind of put a work ethic into me and some discipline and some things that have maybe helped carry me through. My brother and sister, I got a brother that's a coach out in Arizona, high school coach, and a sister that's been a teacher for a long time. She lives in Arizona as well. And growing up, we had a unique situation that we had sibling rivalries like all families, but our family was like this. And they supported any successes that I had as a player, as a coach. They've been right there, so, supporting everything that I've done, and hopefully I've been able to reciprocate that. But that really means a lot when you got a brother and a sister that are looking out for you, even if it's from, I guess the whole way across the country. My children, Lynn and I have raised 4 kids together. We had a baseball family. That was a kind of a big deal in our family. And it's not fair, because when we lost, I came home in less than a stellar mood. I was real bad about it when the kids were young, and I first got into coaching, and then they had to suffer because of, I was emotionally drained from a bad day at the ballpark. Sometimes you have to miss their games because you're out coaching your game, and sometimes you can't be at their events. But they were always there to support me, and kind of always made it better. There's nothing, sometimes you think, oh boy, life's terrible and we lost a baseball game, and then you see, smile on your own kid's face and you realize maybe it's not that bad. So they've always been there for me. And while I was out coaching other people's kids, Lynn was at home raising ours, and usually was at the games. And again, you couldn't have a more supportive coach's wife. And what Lynn has been, I think the appropriate thing for me to do, because sometimes my words aren't enough, so I'm going to steal some words from Robert Plant, one of my favorite musicians of all time. I will do you all a favor, and I won't try to replicate the melody, because I think I would fail miserably. But Lynn, I just say to you that if the sun refused to shine, I would still be loving you. And if the mountains crumbled to the sea, it would still be you and me. And then there's a little bop. And I want to thank you. A bop. Old girl, I want to thank you. I want to thank the players. I've had so many great players, just unbelievably talented people that have come through this program and programs before. I really believe, as a coach, you can see a bio and, oh boy, this guy won some games. I didn't win any. Players won every one of those games. I've lost some. I've made some horrendous decisions on that field that cost us a ball game, but I never won a game. The players won all those games, and just the effort they gave, and it's just kind of when you're a coach, you sort of see yourself out there because that's what you used to do. Except these guys were a lot better at it than I was, and so. I'm proud of what they were when they played, but I'm really proud if you look at the legacy of the guys that have come through here and the other places. They're tremendous fathers. They're businessmen. We got a guy that's that's got songs in the country western. He's charted songs. Got guys that went into the big leagues. I'm just proud of the men that they became. Hopefully, our program had some influence on that. That's probably more important to me than if we ever won a game. Is that maybe you can influence and help influence a young man to be a better person going forward. It was late in the spring of 1974. My dad dropped me off at my first baseball practice. He had signed me up to play in the rec league on the west side of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I was assigned to a team called the Eddie's Evergreen Marina Twins. We had some green shirts, and we played in our blue jeans and our tennis shoes. It wasn't quite like it is now. My coach's name was Randy Cyberlake, and Randy was the starting third baseman for the local high school team. That's how we did it there. It was a great concept. You didn't have dads involved. The high school kids coached the youth level. And when I saw Randy, it might as well have been Mike Schmidt or George Brett standing there. I mean, to me, that guy was a big leaguer. He was the starting third baseman for the Oshkosh West. I mean, that was kind of a big deal. And as a 9-year-old boy, I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. I was, I had a team to play on, and I had a coach to show me how to get better. So the practice had ended, and my dad picked me up, and he asked me if I had fun. I told him, I think it was the best day of my life. And I said that Coach Cyberlig said I was going to be the first baseman because I was left-handed, I was tall, and I could catch really well. So I had a position, I had a coach, and I just thought it was the greatest thing that ever happened. So my dad, I remember it distinctly, he said, well, as long as you had fun, I guess you can go back tomorrow. And at that time, of course, I had no idea that there would be 47 years of tomorrows. Well, Tuesday night, when I put my head on the pillow, I realized that Wednesday, which was yesterday now, that was going to be the last tomorrow. And it was time to get off the field, and it was very clear to me. Okay, now we're going to fast forward to the spring of 1983, and I was an all-state left-handed pitcher. I was had some college coaches coming to the games. I had a bunch of pro scouts coming to the games, and I kind of thought, I was kind of cocky. I thought I was somebody. Hey, I can do this. And I guess it took my mother humbling me a little bit. It was a couple of days before the draft, and the Cubs called and said that we're considering drafting your son in the later rounds. And I didn't know this, but my mom quickly said, well, that's nice, drafting later round, you want, but my kids go to college. And he's not going to sign. Well, the next day, a guy named Vern McKee came in from the Minnesota Twins. And he called me and said, I want to meet with you. Of course, I didn't run it by my parents. I just, last second, I said, hey, this guy from the Twins is coming in. Well, that was all well and good. And Vern McKee talked about, hey, we got you in the draft late. We think we can get you like $8,000 or $10,000. And it was just kind of funny because my mom wasn't going to let me sign for $8,000 or $10,000, and now moms will pay $8,000 or $10,000 for a kid can play Little League, but that's a whole other editorial comment. But he went through the whole spiel about pro ball, and I thought, I'm going to sign because in my mind I'm a bit big leaguer. That's what I'm going to do. And of course, my mother said, I appreciate you coming, Mr. McKee, but my son will not be signing a contract. Well, I was a little bit upset with my mom. About a week later, a guy named Juan Nieves had been drafted by the Brewers, and they gave him $150,000, which was just unheard of money in those days. And Juan he'd signed and would make his professional debut at Appleton, Wisconsin, which was 18 minutes from my house. So we loaded up the car, my buddies and I, and we went up to go watch Juan Nieves pitch. And I mean, I watched this guy like a hawk. He came out of the locker room at Old Goodland Field in Appleton, Wisconsin. There's a chain link fence. And I stood right up next to that fence, and I was 6'3", 200 pounds. Juan was 6'1", 175 pounds. I watched Juan, how he warmed up. It didn't look all that special. I said, I can do what he's doing. Juan told the catcher to get down, and it was absolutely, when he threw to the catcher, it was like a gun went off. I looked at my buddies and I said, I can't do that. I quickly realized my mother was a lot smarter than I gave her credit for. I can't do what he can do. I was okay, he was great. So on the way, I realized when I get to school, I better find the library, I better get a degree. So on the way home from Goodland Field that night, I had to come up with a new plan. I thought the greatest thing a person could do for a job was to get paid to play baseball. So I said, I can't do that one. What would be the second greatest thing? It would be maybe to coach baseball and show other people how to play baseball. So in my mind, that night was kind of the spark was lit to go on to what amounted to a 34-year career of coaching baseball. And it's really been a wonderful, unbelievable 34-year ride. I met my wife because I was a baseball coach. The relationships, the friends, most of my friends are involved in baseball in some way, shape, or form. The relationships with the players. It's been an unbelievable ride. I'm extremely proud that I was able to hang in there for for 16 years in the toughest junior college conference in the country. We didn't always win, but we did win sometimes. And I mean, I was proud to go toe to toe with what I consider to be the best coaches in the country. Somebody asked me if I regret never coaching in the big time. Till you coached a game in the Panhandle Conference, you might not think it's the big time. Go out there and you try it. It's the big time. And so I feel like for a kid that was basically, I got my fundamental training on the rec field on the west side of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I'd come a long way and had a heck of a ride with it, but now it's time to get out. I just think in retrospect and with all due respect to both Mr. Lou Gehrig and Robin Young, who borrowed these words in his Hall of Fame speech, I really do think that today I consider myself to be the luckiest man on the face of the earth. And I thank all of you for being here. It's been a fun time, and I look forward to continuing relationships with all of you.